thought he did an excellent job. I thought he did a good job of getting deep position, offensively, defensively. I thought he did a good job of getting up at the level he was supposed to be at, but just did an all-around did a good job.
You've been constantly coming with questions about JV and using him in the fourth quarter in your time here. How has he matured, though, into the role that you've given him, and how has he taken advantage of situations? When you look at something like last night.
Well, like any young guy, you're not going to come in this league and command what people expect you to do or think you should do. It's what you can do, and he's grown into that role. He's developed at the right pace, the right time, maybe not as fast as people wanted him to, but he finally has gotten there. And still not a finished product, and he will be the first to tell you there's a lot of areas where he can grow and will grow, but we're very pleased with his progress.
And what about his mentality? I asked him outright, do you want the ball more? He said no, and before that he said he likes setting a good screen more. To him, that's more important. What does it say about his mentality?
Well, that's probably a politically correct answer, right? Huh? He better say that, but no, that's a diplomatic answer. But no, he's a, JV is a great student. He understands the game. Again, that's growth. To understand the screening is just as important as his offense. And what would have made me even more happy if he said his post defense would have been better than screening. At least he's thinking on the defensive end. But no, he's done a good job. He's going against one of the top centers in the league in Whiteside. So he's got his hands full. And again, it's going to get even more difficult as the series goes on. But I think he's ready for the challenge.
Do you think this? Damari says he's finding his rhythm offensively. Terrence Ross has been very good. JV obviously. Are you getting closer? Do you think where Terrence and Damari and Powell can really begin trusting and distributing?
Well, they should, Michael. I think those guys. Damari's finding his, like you said, his three-point shot. We're very comfortable and confident in T. Ross and his pick and roll game, his pin down game, coming off for the jump shot, his three-point shooting. And then, Patrick hasn't had one of his breakout nights either. So we got some other guys that are capable. Cal and DeMar, I know they trust their teammates. Their style of play lends itself for them getting the shots and making plays. But they have other guys that are very capable. And we haven't even talked about JV and the post-up. So, and not necessarily calling plays for JV, but rolling to the basket. In plays where, Cal keeps in what we call midget and dumps it off to JV. Some of those are probably his better offensive plays than just directly trying to go into the teeth of Miami's defense with JV with his back to the bucket. So there's a lot of situations where we can score again, and I thought we did a good job of scoring off our defense early in the game, getting the ball up the floor, keeping the pace, and attacking early.
Those guys so much, they have such a high degree of accountability, right? Like they take the blame no matter what.
Right.
Is it hard to get, if you're in that situation, to say, look, if I'm going to get blamed, I might as well?
Well, Michael, they're our guys. They're our go-to players. They're our two all-stars. They carried us the entire year. Both of them are going through a tough shooting slump right now. And it's hard to say just stop shooting and start looking for everybody else. They've got to explore to see what their heat check is. They're accountable for their shots. They take accountability for some of the tough shots that they take. But again, we have to live with some of their tough shots as the game goes on, just to see where they're offensive, because we need them to to be there, to have the threat of scoring as much as anything else. And again, it's not like we haven't seen those things change from game to game for certain players, and I'm confident that it will for those two. But in the meantime, like you said, Mike, we got DeMar shooting the ball well, T. Ross shooting the ball well, Patrick, having the ability to shoot the ball. So there's other options to go to.
Powell and DeMar could stand to be a little more aggressive going into Whiteside and inviting contact a little bit? I know he's a force.
No, you don't want to poke a bear. You want to make sure the bear is dead before you poke it. There are opportunities you can get in there and get quick shoot him. But I think to go in there and challenge a great shot blocker like that is very difficult to do. You might get him once, but I wouldn't chance it too many times. What is there though are the drop-offs, the kick-outs. Once you get in there, get him committed, get him to come to you. Now JV's open in those situations. Those are the things that are there. I think that's probably the best play because he is a great shot blocker. We have to respect that, and a lot of times try to use that against him.
Coach, the variables. Are you happy with how the guards have handled the midgeting so
far? Not really. No, we haven't made great decisions out of it. We've missed some plays back to JV, wants to circle under the basket. The kick-outs, we haven't done a great job of that. No, you're exactly right, and we can do a better job of that.
Coach, we're 9 games into the playoffs now. Variables aside, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well is this team executing the scheme that you have put forward, the path to victory?
We haven't done a great job of I don't think we've played our best basketball. I think we're trying to execute the game plan, but as far as making plays, making shots, we haven't hit on a high clip. Even in the Indiana series, we haven't executed well offensively. Defensively, we've done some good things, but we can even be better. So I don't think we've played our best basketball. We found ways to win, which we will take and we're excited about, but we can't be satisfied with some of the plays that we're making offensively and defensively, and know and understand we can do better.
Has this series been more physical than the Pacers series so far?
As physical, a different type of physical, Josh, and it's funny you say that because the Pacers series was more speed and quickness and physicality, where this is just all out, just physical. You get into their grab space or air space, you're going to get hit and bump. But where Pacers, step for step, they were physical and step for step with you. So if that makes sense.
Are you happy with how your team has held up to that physicality?
Well, again, there's situations like everything else. We can do a better job of being more physical, cracking people, bumping cutters, and more physicality from that standpoint, legal physicality. So there's areas you can do a better job of that. So always you can do better in being more physical and also handling their physicality on the defensive end.
What are some of Miami's weaknesses that the Raptors can take advantage of?
If I told you that, then I'd be telling you our game plan, right? So I'm sure they're looking at film like we are and trying to figure out what they can do to us, and we're looking at film to see what else we can do to them. There's going to be adjustments that we got to make, and I'm sure they're going to make adjustments too.
Dwane, they've been a markedly better team at home throughout the entire season, and their offensive performance has just gotten better and better in there down the stretch. What is it that makes them such a good team at home, and what can you guys do to
They're averaging 108 points a game at home versus 92 on the road. That's a huge difference. And whether it's shooting the ball better, familiarity with their rims, or whatever it is, their style of play doesn't change that much. They seem more confident at home shooting the basketball. And some of that is they had such a hot game against Charlotte the first couple of games, jumped those numbers up in the playoffs. But they're a markedly better offensive team at home versus on the road. The three-point shooting is about the same, but their scoring average and their field goal percentages is markedly better.
How can you counter that? Is there anything you can do?
Well, we hope we do a better job defensively and take them off their sweet spots, and where they can't get comfortable with their shooting is what you get. But again, because their style of play doesn't change, they're doing a lot of the same things. They're pick and roll games, so we got to make sure we continue to get to the three-point shooters, and get guys off their sweet spots.
You had stretches of good play in Game 6, but Games 4 and 6 didn't end up in your favor. Is there something about the road that you can change as you go into Miami to sort of improve your fortunes away from home?
Well, again, usually the team that loses the game is going to come out more desperate. We got to come out desperate in the next game. I thought we came out desperate in Indiana in Game 3. We got to come out with the same mentality, a desperate mentality like we did last night. Most of the times, we've been a victim here. We win a game, we think all the problems are solved, and we lose a game, we think it's the end of the world. And it's not that way in the NBA. Usually the hardest playing team, the most consistent team, usually wins in the NBA.
What did you get from James Johnson last night?
The couple possessions of physicality, of guarding people and doing what he's supposed to do defensively, I thought he did an excellent job. Most of all, he was ready to play. You know, he's coming back from injury, hadn't kind of got out of the rotation a little bit. Norm had been playing well, but I thought he was ready to come in and do his job defensively, what he was came in the game to do.
Get to say anything to Norm after a game like last night?
No
trouble.
No. Just watch film today, figure out what he was doing wrong, get his hands back, not bite on Dwayne Wade's pump fake. You know, just continue to play his game.
When closing out quarters, is this the matter of protecting the basketball? Or is there more to it?
There's more to it. It's defensively, you got to get stops. Offensively, you got to make sure you execute and take care of the ball, get the quality shots. We haven't done a good job of closing out quarters, especially the second quarter, and that was a topic of conversation today in the film session.
Coach, when along the way with Damari, when he got hurt, he came back, got hurt, had the complications, when along the way did you have the confidence in him that he could play the kind of minutes he is now?
Well, again, that's, you know, he's a proven player in the league. The doctors tell you he can play. He's shown in games prior to now that he's been able to perform and do his job. And you know, we've ramped up his minutes each game, even before the playoffs started. Was kind of looking to ramp up his minutes and increase them and to see what it was, Arash. But you know, his body is telling him he's fine. There's no, you know, ill effects of increased minutes. So as long as he's healthy and can play, he's going to be one of our top guys.
You guys closed the rebounding gap in last night's game, probably largely based on play in the second half and overtime. Do you feel confident that things are improving on that?
No, we can do a better job. We got to do a better job on the boards. Luol Deng had 3 offensive boards. We had contact with him. We let him off the hook by losing contact on the box outs. We can do a much better job of rebounding, and that's an area where our guards can come back in and get some boards, get a piece of somebody to help on the box outs with Whiteside. So no, we can do a much better job of especially defensive rebounding, and you know, and then also too offensive rebounding. JV can do a better job of going and doing what he does in biz on the offensive boards.
Coach, the free throws last night were a bit of a sore spot. Did you address that today?
Well, again, those are things that you know, more psychological than anything else. Guys are getting up free throws today, but you know, again, it's something that, you know, guy maybe have a hand problem or whatever it is. You know, DeMar DeRozan's not going to go 2 for 8 from the free throw line too many times. But you know, there's reasons for that. So he's got to handle that. But again, that's an area of concern. But it's not something you can wave a magic wand on and say shoot free throws better. It's something guys have to. It's an individual thing as much as anything else.